From coast to coast in Canada, we have a wide array of climates and environments. No matter where you are in the country, you can follow this simple layering guide to best kit you for your next hunt. When talking layering, especially in your tops, you're gonna have four main distinctions. You're gonna have your base layer, that's gonna be either merino or synthetic, that's gonna be the layer closest to your skin. Then you're going to have a concealment layer, especially in some hunts. Depending where you are, you might skip this layer altogether. Next, you're going to have an insulating layer. These are typically either a down or a synthetic or even a fleece. And then to prevent you from the elements, you're going to have either a rain shell or an outer layer. Starting off with pants, we're going to talk about base layers. So if you're in more of a summer hunt or something where you don't necessarily need extra warmth, this is just going to be your underwear. Or if you're heading into the later season hunt, something like a long john. Here we have the Kiln 250 Zip Off from First Lite, and it's a great option for when the weather gets a little colder. Next is going to be your outerwear pant. This is something that you're pretty much always going to have on during your hunt and is going to move with you when you're hiking up or down the mountain. Here we have the men's 308 pant. This is a great choice for kind of all season use in British Columbia or the rest of Canada, and it really does a great job of moving with you. It has a great fabric as well as a couple key features like vents on the side. When the weather hits, or maybe you're already hunting in more of a wetter environment, then we have our shell pant. This is the First Lite Omen Storm Shelter pant, and this is a great exterior layer as soon as the weather turns. If you are wearing a pant like this, especially in the late season, and you don't expect to ever take it off, oftentimes I will not be wearing a pant like the 308 and just be wearing my long johns directly underneath. For tops, you have a lot of flexibility and a lot of choices. A couple questions, especially when you start off with insulating layers, is are you more of a merino person or more of a synthetic person? Over here, we have the First Lite Wick. This is in a 150 merino. You can get this in all different thicknesses, and really depending on how late in the year you are or what the temperature is around is gonna depend on how thick your base layer is. For me, I run hot. I always like to go as thin as possible and then layer on top. A key thing with your base layers is that you want them to properly fit. This is going to be the closest layer to your body. You want to make sure that you don't have too much room in there so that your heat isn't bouncing around. You want this to really be a nice form-fitting athletic fit. Next, depending on the type of hunting, you're going to have a concealment layer. This can either add a little bit more warmth. You can wear it, especially in those early season hunts, in lieu of a base layer if you are getting a little bit hotter. That being said, the whole goal with this layer is to conceal yourself. So if you're making a tight stock, oftentimes I'll pull all my other layers off and just keep this layer on. Typically a concealment layer will have something like a face mask, a hood that will go over your head, and the whole goal is to be concealed. A lot of people will skip this layer, but if you're more of a waterfowl hunter and you want to have your whole face covered, or maybe you're a whitetail hunter and you're sitting in the stand, this is a great layer to have on, especially for that face concealment. Here's the approach hoodie, and especially in those early season hunts, I typically will just wear this as my all-day wear. Next is your insulating layer. This is a layer that you're gonna be able to take off and on quite consistently throughout the day. Here we have a down. This is actually the Brooks down sweater, although these do come in synthetic options as well, such as the North Range puffy jacket. You're gonna be wearing an insulating layer as soon as the weather gets cold. And when the skies open up or the weather starts to turn, you're gonna wanna have an outer layer or a rain shell. Here we have the Omen Storm Shelter, and this essentially is your protection from all of the elements, as well as your protection for all of your other layers. This is gonna take the beating of the elements and allow you to stay warm and dry. This is a quick guide to layering for Canadian hunts. If you have any more questions or want to check out any of these products in depth, be sure to check out fargon.ca.